Good afternoon. This is the Elliott Wave weekly update for gold, silver, and platinum being recorded on Sunday, June the 8th at 11:45 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Starting here on the monthly chart, so it's the maximum data that I have. I just wanted to add one particular note after a couple of discussions with other Elliotticians in the precious metals space. I have come to realize that there's the very strong possibility that we're not necessarily rising in a cycle degree ABC, which would suggest more corrective than anything, other than I normally don't go beyond a cycle degree count. So to go cycle degree 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 still would work because then I'd still be looking for a cycle degree ABC down. And since I didn't necessarily finish a cycle degree. I don't have any more data to go back, don't, to go and look at to realize that prior to 1980, I'm assuming that it was a primary degree five-wave rally up to this point. And that's via other long-term charts that I've had privy to see. So there's very well could be cycle degree one, cycle degree two, or cycle one, cycle two, and we're in a cycle wave three. I'm not changing them just yet because it actually has no bearing on the particular count that I'm working on right now, which is that on a cycle degree, it's going to consist of five waves of primary degree, of which one and two are complete. So we're still in this larger third wave rally. Even if I bump this up to cycle two, and we're in cycle three, well, then we're definitely in cycle three. And then what happens there is we're still in primary wave three, and we're still in intermediate wave three, and we're still in minor wave three. So we're in a three of three of three of three move. And in fact, I can do it one more time. We're in a three of three of three of three of three move. Or it's a three of three of three of three of B, of C. So either way, we're in a powerful rally phase that has, in my opinion, much more upside to do before this larger wave, whether it be a C or a three, is complete. So primary three underway, intermediate three underway, minor three underway, and we're looking for the finishing moves to complete minute wave three. So let me bring this down to the daily. Here we are inside minute wave three. In fact, I could take it down just a little bit more so I can include. There is minor wave two, so we're in minor three. Here's minute one and two, we're in minute wave three. So we have minuet wave one, two, three, and four. So I've got a couple of things going on underneath all of this. So let me bring it down and kind of show you. So that we're going to come out of here. Either we're in this fifth wave up, right? The minuet fifth wave up, and it is subdividing on its own. So let me bring this down to my hourly chart where what I have wasn't as visible even on that 3 week. You can see you can't see it cleanly. So I'm going to bring it down to the daily chart because on the daily chart, here I have minuet wave three, minuet wave four. So I'm still leaving minuet wave four in place here at the May 15th low at 31.23. Now, from there, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and probably all the way up to there. Let me bring this down to my hourly chart. This I don't particularly like, so I've kind of left it the possibility that it's an ABC. We're coming down in the C wave, slight irregular. Otherwise, I have to put I'd have to put this wave one up here, and in which case this is an ABC coming down. So I'm kind of leaving it open this way that we're still in the wave two. Again, bringing it out to the hourly chart, this is wave one, right? So that's wave one of minuet, wave five. Pretty big. So otherwise, I'm kind of coming up to this point going, this is one, two, three, four, five of three. ABC four, one, two, three, four, five. But this is very sloppy and works more cleaner as a B wave rather than five. I suppose I could screech it through, but then it becomes A, oh, see, A, B, C, and then I got to do somehow get a diagonal out of it, and even that's difficult. So either way, whether I do one or whether I do B, it's coming down, and I believe here's the deal. If I leave it as an AB, the C wave would be expected because it's a slight irregular to come 1.618. It hit it on the nose. The low on Friday was 3,328.80 or 29, and this is 3,327. I was pretty much hitting it on the nose. So I'm thinking, okay, but I'm leaving open the potential that we might drop a little bit more. And that brings us into these levels, right? If I'm looking at here for wave two, 3825618, those are the most common. I mean, it's yet to even get to 382 if it is a wave two, and that's at 3305. So maybe we have a little bit more, possibly down into here. Still a healthy market. That's the point I want to make. It's still a healthy market. The fact is the volatility and the surges in the market are really making both rally spectacular. So if you're long, you're like Yahoo. But if you're still waiting long because you're expecting higher levels, which I am, you're now looking like, well, I'm down. Look at how much I'm down because the market slips. And when it does, it slips 40, 50, 60, 70 points. So I know that can be hard to take, but this is the deal. I believe we still have a lot of upside to do, but if you're sitting and you're waiting with a long position in the futures market or just in physical or in some other form, then yeah, the pullbacks are going to be reflective of this strength in the rallies. We're going to drop. And here's why I'm also thinking that we're still in this corrective phase, that I've marked that as done. And this, you can see we rally, it declines, puts in a bigger pullback. It rallies, it declines, and puts in a bigger pullback. So it kind of gives me a couple of ways to look at this. I may move this up here, and this is a cleaner ABC. And if I did that and just put this in, instead, go like here. Let's see how it makes any adjustments on our levels. It doesn't, and what brings up that 382 to 3312. So it still could be, bringing it down a little bit more. So either way, if I put the one here and this could be the two, or I just leave it where I had it and it's still the two. So either way, um, it's still going to be that smaller second wave. Whether I put the one here or whether I leave the one here, it's still going to be a two. If I move that up, we have a little bit more space for the market to come down to put in its low for wave two. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is with these markers because this could could signal it's done. And if it is, what does that suggest? Well, we're going to get confirmation because gold's going to go from here and it's just going to go up. So again, if you're finished with two and you're bumping into a three should move in the direction of the trend, which is up, but do it expeditiously. Like we'll have a big up day. Something is going to trigger. Something could happen. Maybe it'll be the dollar sinking. Maybe it'll be selling bonds. A lot of things get correlated together here. And what's going to bring out a rally in the metals? Uncertainty. And there's plenty of that to go around. So technically, support at 3327, support at 3307, 3272, 3265. Downside, yes, it can go all the way and still remain healthy. So we have 3237 down here on the bottom. Am I expecting that? Not necessarily. But if I see it start to really drop, because there's just as many reasons for them to get out of gold as it is to get into gold. or to correct gold versus to start the rally again. So unknowing what's going to come out that's going to, produce the move, I don't know. So that part I allow for additional downside, and I also feel if the market just turns and starts to go up, particularly if it starts to break above the hourly 78, the hourly 30, because I use them here. I know I shouldn't and should reverse them, but when I do it in Thinkorswim, it takes it and puts it on all of the charts. Um, so I'm unable to just do them separately. In any case, I think we could be done. We did clean ABC down. I think we could be done, and we're going to turn and we should start going up. Now, resistance to the upside still comes in at that 34.26, which is right around the previous high. Above that, we have 35.09, which now starts to bring us into that territory of new all-time highs again for gold. We have that previous high, which was 35.09 or 35.10. So that's where our resistance, our 100% resistance goes. And I actually don't need that. That's to say if the B wave still had more upside, and I don't think it does. So I'm going to remove that. And now we just have this one, which has that particular downside. So sorry about that. I'm just removing quite a bit. Let me review that again. That was misplaced. That was if we still had additional downside to do within this fourth wave. And that part I don't believe we do. So I don't think the market has, wait, of course it has the ability to drop back to these levels, but I don't think it will. So I'm going to hold it to where it could drop back to 32, 35, turn and start to go up, or do it from here. But either way, we're now looking for, now let me go back out here, and let me put this next one up, which is going to give us wave 5, which I had up, and that was actually my intent. And let me go over here, put this here, quickly put this into play for us. Sorry about that. You see I run through a lot of possible moves when I'm going through all the possibilities. All right, so we're going to go right to here. Oops, because it really has to move quickly and get itself going. Because even you can see 100% is still not to the new highs. So pull that out and go like that. And now let's see what our upside levels are. So we have, again, this one, 35.10. And here we have 1.882 at 35.92. But then I have 1.618 for wave 5, minuet wave 5 at 36.42. And that one is the one. So we're starting to get that move to break above. Now, again, bringing this down to the daily, if I got 1 and then I got 2, I could, once I have that low in for 2, I could start to build out additional fibs for wave 3. Now, because this is 1.618 and this is 1, 2, 3 could take us up to there, which pushes this up to these levels. So it could be an explosive move, or, I got the other side of the coin is this is A of B, A of 4, B of 4, and we are going to come down in a C wave, and that's what I was showing previously on the A and up to the B, and then showing more downside rather than just here to here. So here is just a correction for this small wave here. I can put one more up there, which would also be in the same color, but you can see it can come down to 3,000 on this one and still be a 4. So I will leave it there, but I'm going to put it in the right color. So here we'll put it in there, and we'll just put it like this. And just more give those downside levels once we get breaking there. And that would be as follows. I don't think we'll get to 1.618, but we certainly could do 100%. So I'll leave those in there. Okay, so here's the whole picture. If it is A of 4, B of 4, we're going to come down, and this isn't going to hold. We're going to come in, it's going to continue to gap lower. That would be the ticket to that. That's a C wave down. All right, so that all I'm dealing with now is this move all in here. We're just dealing with this, whether this is a 1 or whether, we're coming back to this 4. Oh, let me go out a little bit to the daily. So either it's a one and then we have the two here, or if it's A of four and we still have four to finish, then we still have that coming off. And this would be A and this would be B, even with that little bit of that little bit higher high there. One, two, three, four, five, A, B, one, two, three, four, five, C. Yeah, it could be. Then we're just going to work those levels coming over, and then we get these. So at least the C wave would be expected to take out the A wave, which is right there. And so that would come up first, and then we have that. So ABC could still be the four, or it's one, ABC, two, and we go launching up higher. That's the deal with gold at the moment. And it hangs out. It's not breaking either direction, which also keeps both sides in flux. What's it going to be? What's going to be, you know? And so until we get that clarity, you have to consider both. And sorry, but that's kind of where gold's at right now. It's not breaking down, it's not breaking up, it's hanging out right in between on all levels. So, and when the moves happen, like I said before, they can be large. Now, working to the other side of this, we have silver. So, by the way, a little bit longer term, gold, I am not looking for this to fall out of the sky at the moment. I am definitely not looking for that. I think there's still plenty of upside left. We just have to work our way through the corrections that are coming in between. And the larger we start to get, right? Not that a minuet degree is so big, but in terms of this bigger picture that we got going on in gold, it's big enough to give us to take more time. This correction has been in play since the end of March. And now we're moving towards the end of June. So we're seeing a 3 month on a minuet degree. So things just continue to get a little bit interesting for us here. Now let me go over and start on silver. So gold, I still am very bullish on it, but we got to get ourselves through here. Silver, on the other hand, let me go back out. Let's start on that one. Um, okay, how about I go to a monthly and just do this? Come on, give it, come on, thank you. So here we have, this is 1980. So we have an A, B, C, it's a W, and then an X, and we're in a Y wave going up. And now we are in the C wave of wave Y. And silver absolutely came to life last week. Two tremendously large rally days. We had one on the 2nd, and then we had another one on the 5th. So the 3rd and the 4th, a little bit of a correction. But now remember what I believe we are going in here in terms of this C wave, which has projections up much higher. We'll get to that in just a second. So, but I believe that wave C is forming a diagonal. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, ABC 5. And I think we're in that 5th wave. And if I had to say 1, 2, this is all a part of 3. It's already reached just above 1.618. And that would be inside of here, right? So those and these actually can be a different color. Let me just do that because I took them down too small. That's a little bit smaller than I thought. Okay, so you can see if we're doing a minor 5th wave up, it's going to consist of a minute A, B, C, being that it's 5, 3, 5. So we have wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. Altogether will be an ABC. And each one, wave 1 will be 3, wave B will be 3, wave C will be 3. And it's kind of could stop here, and it is ABC 3, and we come down in a 4, and then we come back up in a 5. I believe that this internal, let me bring it back down here. Nope. Let me bring it down to the daily. That's cleaner. So you can see here, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We slipped just above 1.618, closed back below it. So maybe this is wave 3 and it's an ABC, and then we come back down in an ABC, but I would label 1, 2, label it a 3, or you could put an ABC. In fact, I should change that. I don't want to be confusing. So they're all going to be 3s. Let's leave it at that. And so I could put a 3 up here, and then we'd get a wave 4. And this is for the continuation, so I need to make my edits, take out of that. And if we continue to rally, our next resistance in terms of this third would be 38. And so right now, on this level, we surpassed for this internal wave, we surpassed internally 1.618. So we're just looking at what this end piece will look like. 1.618 was 36.24. That high from Friday was 36.51. We have on the minor degree 100%, where minor wave 5 is equal to minor wave 1. They came in at 36.58. The next one for that is at 42, and that's the 1.618. And that's kind of, since we're only in probably the third, I'm kind of looking for the same thing. I think that the rally should continue. But here's my other point. We have seen tremendous rallies, and then suddenly it just kicks in to the downside. If this came up to 35.50 and dropped before it was done back to 27.50. So big, big drop. And I don't want it to get up here and suddenly everyone's looking at one another going like, why are we here? Well, they bought it. Well, why are they're not here to support it? And everybody starts taking their profit. So both sides, it's just really tricky. Again, if you're long silver and you've gotten sitting on a decent profit, I don't know. You might want to put a stop in, because look, you can always take your profit, and if it comes down in a corrective wave and rallies back again, you get back in. So it's the same thing, other than you're going to pay commissions out and in, but so, big deal. Take your profit when you get it. That's me. Other people trade differently, and I don't recommend trading. I don't recommend trades. So, um, but I do think I'm going to keep my eyes open for silver just deciding that was enough, and they just start to kick the crap out of it. And if it drops below 34, it could turn into a sizable. And being that we're being left with 3 up, and it is a new high above there, I can't, I cannot go beyond and say, "Man, that's it. That's it." It's either going to be wave 1, we come down in a 2, and then we get a 3 and a 4 and a 5. So in other words, wave 1, 3 waves. If I'm looking for the fifth to be also a diagonal, I'm thinking the minor degree move is a diagonal. And I think in that case, it's a C wave. So we're working in an intermediate C wave, which also could be a diagonal, and the minors are also forming a diagonal, so that fits to the larger pattern as well. So here it could be ABCA, and then we get a B wave, and then we get a C wave up. And in essence, 535, 5 ABC, and a 535. So yeah. So either we get a small little pullback and we rally up again, or we get a larger pullback, and either way. But I do believe there's a different additional rally. And we might start that way. So if we kind of break back above 36.58, which we reached again, that high is, come on, tell me what it is. That's right there. It's 36.51, and 58 was the exact resistance, so it can get up a little bit more, get up to 60 or 70 maybe. But if it starts to break, our next resistance comes in at 38. and then 38.40, 38, almost $40 up here. I think eventually silver has potential to get itself up there. Now, again, pulling it back out to that weekly chart. Let me pull it out to the 5-year. Oh my. How far do I have to go here, kids? There. There's the X. Here's the Y. There's the Y. And so we have potential 39, 42 to 46. I 48, then we're testing that high. And I actually don't think that silver is going to do that. If it does, we will. We've got potential where it goes. Now, the primary degree Y would be 100% at 100% of that, just going the other direction at 57, 58, 58 up here. And that would be pretty wild because that's all-time new highs, which would be, if we think about it, it would be 45 years after, no, yeah, 1980, and then to 2020 plus 25 is 45 years in the making. Wow, that would be incredible. To me, that's pretty incredible. But being that gold is sitting up here, I don't know. It's been a while for silver to catch fire. And even in this move, it has just waffled around and then suddenly break. And so again, if we bring it all the way back down and we're just taking a look, that trend line is up here is going to be around 39. And if it goes up and it breaks that trend line, it's like, wow, now, you know, it's gone. I'm thinking that that could just really feed a stronger rally. And it could just be a short covering rally, to be honest with you. Whatever's going to force it up there, it could get up there. All right. So right now, I think we got a 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3. Maybe we get a little 4 in here. And you could always run some fibs. That's on a weekly chart. Let me bring it down to the hourly chart. And so that's the 2. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That would put the 5. Put it up to there. The 3, the 4, and 1, 2, 3. Here's the other 4. It should rally. It should rally. It should put in a new high before this sequence is done. That's 5 up. 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. See, it's all corrective. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3. Now maybe a 4. So it actually could drop back. It hasn't. Did a few times, but it hasn't. That's always recovering off of them. But I think we have to leave open the potential it can come back to 35.50 if it's going to pull back from here and then go again. I'm still pretty bullish on the precious metals. And we have, this is the 30, and that 30 is at 36 basically. And that's been holding on these pullbacks. And now it's because it's rising. We'll see if it wants to hold on to that level as it rises, which would be very bullish actually for the market if it holds a rising moving average. Good thing, silver. We'll see what happens with it. But I still am expecting higher levels for silver before all is said and done. And we get these larger corrections after the moves are over. So I don't think we're there yet. Last on this list, let's go to platinum. Certainly not the least. Let me go out to a 5-year. And here again, intermediate wave A, intermediate wave B. B was a one big triangle pattern, which took from October of 2020, actually February of 2021, until we made that low in April of 2025. That's when we made that low. And this actually, if I had to do it, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. And it's got to be because of the, no, come on. Activate. I'm going to put it up to there. So right now we got up to 26. No, that's inside this thing. So 618, that's the C wave. For the C wave, 618 is 1364, and then 100% is 1666. So these are the C wave. Those are the calculations for the C wave coming up. And so it should be pretty powerful, and it still has a lot of time to go. I pull all the way out to my maximum, you can see. Up here, we just have a primary fifth wave. What sits above it, I don't know. But I'm just saying a primary fifth, and this is intermediate A, intermediate B, intermediate C for primary wave A. And now we're doing a primary B wave, which is also an A, a B, and we got a C wave up for primary wave C. And if I go through here, here are our markers. 50% rally is taking us back to 1435. 618 takes us back to 1641. And there's nothing that tells me that the B wave could not be a flat to the A wave on a primary degree, which takes us all the way back up into this area. So all of these remain valid. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens within the precious metals and what happens globally and economically to each one of these products. So I know demand for platinum can change, and it certainly seems to be kicking in. Other thing, just to keep it on a technical basis, when we're looking at this, this was a triangle, and the E wave inside of it also formed a triangle. So it was two triangles that needed to break above their points, and both of them basically did it in the same week as moving up. It was the same week, and that was the week of the 19th of May. We went up when we broke above that E wave triangle, and then we broke above the larger triangle, which was forming wave B. So we broke up the upper boundary, and we broke first for the E wave, we broke that boundary about there, and then we were the other boundary right there at 1069. And we even broke back below, and now we kind of raising up. Last week was a tremendous week for platinum. And so it was up quite a bit. And so all the way, and that just in my mind completed. Let me take this back down and let's look at it on the daily. And we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we actually came up pretty dang close to where this high was 1182 or 83, and this resistance level to 2.618, which is where wave 3 would be. I gotta figure out where I put this. Oh, that's 1 to wave 5 would be 2.618 times the length of wave 1. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And you see what I'm connecting there to there. So wave 5 at 1184, and it got up as high as 1183. So pretty close. So if that completed that minute third wave, minute 4, there's the previous fourth wave, one lesser degree. That was a pretty powerful rally there. So, but I think we got 382. First of all, we have 236 if it comes in shallow, 1130. And then we have 382 at 1097. We have 50% and also that boundary, which it doesn't really have any effect. In fact, I can do this. I can bring that back out because that's where it broke. Right there. So 50%, 1070, 618, 1043. And all of them are valid right down to there because 618 is right where that previous fourth wave is. And here's the price marker for the territory of price action within. So the 4 can come down, and it might be a quick wackadoo. If gold goes through another wackadoo down and silver does the same thing, I don't think platinum's going to stand by itself. So we might see a correction in all three. I still believe there is additional upside just if we're looking at the wave count 1, 2, 3. That gives us a 4, and then we got a 5, and then we have upside initially all the way up at 1364. Once I do have a fourth wave, I can connect it to my fifth, which is here, my 1 to the 4 for the fifth. So depending on how far it comes down, we'll be connecting it in that fashion. And then we'll get our levels for wave 5 up on the minute degree, which is going to give me minor wave 1 of intermediate wave C. Either that or these are the minor. So right now I'm counting them one down. So I still think that in this larger picture, we're inside of minor degree. And this could be minor wave 1, wherever this thing finishes out. May not. I may have to bump this up to minor. And so it's minor 1, 2, and 3, and a 4. And now we're going to minor 5, which could be very explosive and take us up to here, into here. We'll see. We'll see. But we'll be a little bit more flexible with these and then what these represent. All right, that's going to be about it. But all across the board now, I think on a very short-term basis, it could be a month, it could be less. Corrections look about due in all three, in gold, in silver, and in platinum. We might have additional upside to begin with. The difference is that in the precious metals, they are on a demand basis. If there's a higher demand for people building up a gold position, that could be sovereign buyers, the sovereign funds. It could be individual central banks from around the globe. I mean, economically, there's a lot of things that kind of point to why they might want to do that. And platinum has been being added as just as a buy and hold uh, by China, and I think also by Russia. So again, a lot of stuff to keep in mind, and but corrections notwithstanding, I would still be looking for them. All right, that's going to be it. Our next update here will be next week, and I hope to really bring these back into a weekly fashion because I will be making my announcement very soon and likely going to start on July the 1st for the new structure within my memberships and where it's like one price gets everything that I publish. So that would be the S&P, that would be the NASDAQ, it would be the Dow, it would be once I get back on the Russell, it would include the Russell, it would include gold, silver, platinum, and the bonds, which I'm going to be doing next. I'm going to do the Dow, and then I'm also going to do one on the bonds because that picture has changed more dramatically than I thought. All right, so those to come forward. So right now I'm going to finish up the precious metals, get those posted. Next up will be the Dow.